Hi there, my name's Aaron and I'm the founder and CEO at Hype Local. Today I'm going to teach you how to automate your email with Zapier and ChatGPT. The applications that we're going to be going through are, of course, Zapier, ChatGPT, Slack, HubSpot, and some custom code steps. So let's get into it. So here's an example of the email that we are going to automate. So you can see here, this is an inquiry from a prospective client. This is an email that we get every day, just saying who they are, what their company is, what their budget is, what they're looking for, some of the nuances. And of course, it has a bunch of data here, their office number, their address, and so on. Now, when we get these emails, we do not want to have to manually enter these into our CRM system, HubSpot. And I also don't want to have to forward these to anybody. I want an automation to just simply take the content out of here, enter it into HubSpot, and then notify my team. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, I need to use Zapier and ChatGPT to structure the unstructured raw content here. I did a presentation at Zap Connect on this, so we're going to dive deeper today. I'm going to give you a very thorough step-by-step walkthrough on how I do this. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to do is we need to define the schema. What is the exact data that we want to extract out of this raw content? Okay, so, or what data do we want to create? As you'll see from the automation as we walk through it, ChatGPT or the AI can create new data for us. So for the purposes of this demonstration, here is the data set that we are going to use. Business name, business street, city, state, country, postal code, phone, email, website URL, business description, business industry name, contact first name, contact last name, contact cell phone, email title, budget, prospect interest, lead description, and when to contact. Okay, so as you can see, this is quite a bit of data. I want to extract all of this data out of the raw email here, fully automatically with Zapier and ChatGPT, and then I want to enter it into HubSpot. So let's get started. So let's go over to the automation. So the very first thing that I need to set up is I need to set up a trigger step, an email trigger step. Okay, so this is the trigger email by Zapier. Okay, and I want to trigger event new inbound email. And then I want to I could configure this and I can choose, Zapier gives me a email sending domain here. Okay. And then I can configure what the subdomain is. As you can see, leads.u3rk9z@zapiermail.com. Okay. So to get some data in here, I just simply copy this and then I am going to forward this email. Okay, this email that I received from Joe Black, right, at Client First Law. I forward that email to the email that Zapier provided me in this trigger step. Okay, and what that will do is that will allow me to find records or find some tests. Okay, pull the email trigger, and then it gives me all the raw data on the email. Okay, so you can see here, there's a bunch of metadata, right? DKIM, the date, who it's from, right? What I'm most interested in is the body content. Okay, so you can see here, there's the body HTML, but I want the body plain. So there's the plain raw text, forwarded message from Joe Black, date, right? All of that content there. Okay. So next, I'm going to set up my ChatGPT step. and I want to just set up a conversation with it, because we're going to build a fully custom automation, full custom prompt that you can, of course, use for many different things, and you can flex for many different things. I'm also going to provide you all the code and prompt in the resources of this video so that you can implement this quickly on your own. Okay, so next we're going to configure it. Okay, so here's what the user message to ChatGPT is going to be, which is review the raw content here. I add delimiters. Okay, I put a subject, colon, and then I'm grabbing the dynamic content out of the initial trigger steps, so you can see the subject line and that body plane right there. Okay, I just put a period so that it knows, you know, that content is stopped and ended, right? And then I fence it off again. So I'm fencing off that initial part of the prompt. And then the second part of the prompt is I'm actually giving it the schema that I want to extract in a way that it's easy for the AI, for ChatGPT, to understand exactly what I'm asking for. So what I like to do is, again, I fence it off, I add a dash, and then I use an apostrophe to delimit the actual field name of the data I want to extract. So I say the field name, business name, and then I put a colon, and then I give it some detail as to what exactly I'm looking for, right? We want to have some detail for the AI so that it can extract the right data for us. So there you can see here the schema, right? You'll notice here with the business industry name, I'm asking for the NAICS standards, so NAICS code, okay? And you can see all the data here, how it has been put together. Lead description, a brief description of the lead, summarizing the potential opportunity or interest, right? So again, you can customize this. You can add new fields. You can, you know, do however you think would be most valuable for your automation, okay? Then I fence that back off, so I close it, and then I'm going into the third part of the prompt, which is specific instructions. I'm telling it the nuances that I want it to follow. So once the data is gathered, check your response for accuracy against the provided instructions. So an accuracy check, I found using ChatGPT that the accuracy check can be super helpful to making sure that the data is accurate. Unless otherwise told within the schema, all fields are string fields. This data will be used to go into a CRM automation. The data needs to be accurate, clean, and contextual. Okay, so just some more clarity. And then lastly, you'll notice here the last part of the prompt is like a separate special instruction. Okay, so what the format is. So I want to output the response in JSON code format with no leading characters. Your reply be used as a JSON payload. Do not include JSON within the reply. Okay, and I'll show you why. The output, the reply, has to be very specific from ChatGPT for us to be able to automate it, right? So I found that it will, when asked for a JSON payload, it will provide characters like this or so on. So over time, I've learned to develop this super special instruction for it to just help gear it, okay? The model that we're going to use is model GPT-4o, which can basically be used for majority of these, you know, more complex data structuring tasks. Memory key, I'm not going to have any memory key because I don't need it to remember the conversation unless I have additional prompts down here that I want to use from this data that it responds back, okay, which you absolutely can. You could have it craft a follow-up email. You could have it, you know, maybe craft even selling notes based on your product or service stack. There's a lot of things that you could do. There's no image, okay? The username I'm giving it is Aaron@HypeLocal. Now, the reason why I'm telling it Aaron@HypeLocal is because there is content within the raw email body with my name, my signature, and so on, right? So it's got to know who I am so that it knows not to put that data, my data, myself, into the output, okay? and then assistant name, company admin assistant, and email parser. These things absolutely do impact the result, the performance, so pay attention. The assistant instructions, you're a helpful company assistant that specializes in parsing unstructured content into a structured format. Max tokens, I'm going to leave it at the default 1024, which is marginal. The temperature is typically a 1.0, okay, and top P is 1.0 as a default. The suggestion from OpenAI is to only change one of these if you're going to, and I gear the temperature down because temperature flexes the creativity of the bot. So I'm gearing it way down because I want it to be more deterministic, more logical. Okay. So as I test that, okay, you can see here the prompt, review the raw body content. There's the subject, there's the body, the subject is in there, but I just wanted to make sure that that is clear there. Okay. You can see the prompt here, and then here's the reply. Okay, so you can see the reply is a perfectly structured JSON payload, which is exactly what we need to be able to automate the data into our system. Now, the payload, obviously, I created this example. The payload is fully complete. However, if some data does not exist within the email, that's okay, because ChatGPT will just simply produce the field, but we'll leave it blank, okay? Which is exactly what we want, so that it still always has the right structure, regardless of what content's in there. It will do its best to extract what it can, okay? So once I have that reply, I can now take this reply and I can use a very simple JSON parsing code, okay? So we're gonna use code by Zapier. We're going to run JavaScript, and then we're going to, in the input data, we're going to say payload. We're going to put the reply, okay, from ChatGPT into the payload, okay, so that exact JSON payload reply. And then we're just going to use this little bit of code here to parse that JSON payload and turn it into a data set that we can use within Zapier, okay? So let's test it, okay? When we test it, we can now see that the output is usable Zapier fields. Okay, things again that you should be familiar with automating throughout Zapier. Okay, so now what I can do is I can find the contact by that email. So I'm going to find the contact, okay, by that email, right? That was output within my JSON payload. Okay, the email field, there's a business email, there's a contact email. Okay, so I can use that to find the contact. If they don't exist, I can create that contact within HubSpot. Okay, with all of my data, my company name, my, the budget that they're looking for, any notes, and so on. Okay. Now here's a quick tip of advice. If you're newer to HubSpot, if you find the contact, the data is not automatically updated. So I would have to have a step in here that actually, if the contact was found, you'll see here, Zap data was found is false, right? So if Zap data is found is true, then that tells me that I do need to update the prospect. Okay, for the purposes of this presentation, I'm not going to get into that today. But what I would do is I would create a path or potentially add a filter step at the end to update anything that was actually found. Cool, then we're gonna find the company. All right, same idea. We're gonna use the company name. We're gonna use the business name from our outputted JSON payload to find it. If they don't exist, we're gonna create it, okay, with all the business detail, the address, the phone number, the URL, the business description, right? All of that content that I extracted out of the raw data set. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to create the association. So I'm going to associate these two objects within HubSpot. So that makes it easier to do. Sometimes you can do that within the actual create step. I didn't see it, so I'm just going to do a simple association step here. Okay. And then lastly, what I'm now doing is I'm creating a Slack message to go to my sales team. So this message will instantly notify the Slack channel as soon as all of the data is obviously created and it gets to this step. It could take up to 2 minutes to run the AI, to run the Zapier automation, to run the prompt, right? It's not instant. It does take a few minutes to go through, depending on what your Zapier plan is and so on. But I'm just going to create a send channel message action. Okay, I'm going to configure this to send to a specific channel. I've mapped, there is a specific way that Slack has for formatting the text. It's not just HTML. They have their own kind of formatting. But you can see here, I've got a little emoji. You have a new lead, business name, colon, right? And so on. I've just added all the fields here that I want to show in the Slack message. And then I've also added a dynamic link into the contact record. Okay. I'm going to say send as a bot. Yes. Bot name, Zapier. Include a link to this app. No. Auto expand links. Yes. Link usernames and channel names. Yes. Okay. And send channel message. No. Okay. Continue. I'll test it. Looks like everything went through. Let's just check it in Slack. I'm just going to test this again. All right, let's go check Slack. There it is. Okay, so you have a new lead, client first law, Joe Black, so on. You can click the link. Takes me right over to the contact. Okay, so there you have it. That is, let's just find, I'm just going to refresh the screen. So there you have it. That is how you how you automate your email with Zapier and ChatGPT. Basically, you use ChatGPT to extract the structured content that you want out of the raw, unstructured data. Okay. I am going to be creating additional videos to show you how to do things like data segmentation. So maybe you want your email to go through some type of analysis process or categorization, right? Is this a support email? Is this a sales email? And so on. You can build that right into your AI, right? Or perhaps you want this to go through some type of lead routing activity and so on. The sky is the limit. So I just wanted to give you some type of basic concept of how this is done, how we're doing this for our clients today, so that you can, take this and you can apply it to your own automation workflows. I hope that was valuable. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time here at The Hype with Hype Local. Talk to you again soon. Bye for now.